Hello, we are live with BS Busters, the triumphant return. It's been 2 weeks. Sorry, I wasn't able to really get my stuff out as much as usual, but man, shit been busy. I don't know. I'm joined by some of the OGs of BS Busters, the OG, which is Triple M, and then the OG in terms of the dude who's been listening for quite some time, Poppy 2K. But I'll let them introduce themselves with whatever weird, fantastic intros they want to give themselves. So, without further ado, I give you Triple M.
This is Triple M, and I'm just gonna save my intro for the outro. You guys know who I am. If you don't, keep on watching.
Get with it. If you don't know who he is, get with it. Okay, and Poppy 2K.
Okay, what is going on there, YouTube? This is Poppy 2K here, joining Mr. Red Fox and Triple M for this BS Busters show. Let's do it.
All right. Okay. Okay then. So without further ado, I guess we'll get started. But before we do, I just have one thing to say. What has everyone been playing?
I guess you guys can skip with me. And ironically, I was thinking if I couldn't have played any games this week over the past 2 weeks, actually make it 3. I thought it'd be good idea to just watch some golf tournament that was happening recently. And for my unluckiness, I've missed all 3 days of them. So,
Damn.
Yeah, pity me.
I don't know whether to take that seriously, like really, or because for me, playing golf, like playing a golf video game, is more fun than watching golf for me. Because for me, I would rather watch 2 fruit flies fuck than watch golf on TV. It's the most boring game in the world for me.
I guess you could say golfing is an acquired sport.
Yeah, it is. Like even when Tiger Woods was like on top of the golfing world, I was just happy seeing him win, and then seeing people get mad that a black dude won. That was like the best shit ever. But other than that,
I actually wanted to see either him or Vijay Singh won a tournament.
Nah, I like Michelle Yeoh, because it was kind of cool seeing like a 13-year-old girl out golf grown ass men.
Yeah, that was awesome as well.
No, if I'm gonna watch a sport, I want to see the Williams sisters. That's right. Yeah, I said it. And but enough about that. What have you been playing, Poppy?
Actually, I've been playing the latest and greatest YouTube gaming community podcast shows. No, I'm just playing. Well, I've been focusing on a lot of my time doing those things, but I've actually slowed down quite a bit. I've only done a couple this week, so I have been playing. Continuing my progress on Final Fantasy 12, a little bit of Civilization 5 here and there, because that kind of relaxes me playing that game. I don't know why, but
Civilization or Final Fantasy 12?
Civilization 5.
Ah, man.
Yeah.
Look,
but I enjoy Final Fantasy 12. I'm about 20 hours into it, so
yeah.
I'm moving along quite nicely.
I will say this about Final Fantasy 12. Even though I don't really like it all that much, I will say this much about the game. That battle music when you're facing bosses is really fucking awesome in that game. Like, you listen to it, it's like, wow, this is actually pretty good boss battle music.
Yeah, no, I mean, the Final Fantasy 12, I think, if you're going back and play it now, understanding that it's not a traditional, it's not a traditional RPG in the sense of, you take turns hitting. You just.
Yeah, it's more of an MMO.
It's like, yeah, it's similar
like a single player
to
MMO.
Yeah, it's like that. Yeah, I guess you can say. And I actually like the story so far, and I like the characters, man. The characters are pretty neat. So
Yeah, I mean,
the
the
voice
only
acting is
thing,
actually very good voice
yeah,
acting.
the only thing that kind of ruined that game for me a little bit was just it was a little too. What's the word I'm looking for? What's the word I'm looking for?
And for all you guys that don't know what Final Fantasy 12 is, it's on the PS2.
Yeah, yeah.
Exposed.
It's a pretty good game. It's a pretty good game. It's old school though. Well, it's not old school. It was like for me when 12 came out, I played it, I beat it, and I was kind of mad at it. But what we got after Final Fantasy 12, it's like you kind of go back and you're like, damn, that was actually pretty good.
Yeah, yeah. 'Cause you got
13.
it's similar to the Crystallis from the Final Fantasy 13, like the upgrades for your talents and shit for like the skills. Yeah, you got the little card system or whatever, the little chessboard and whatnot. It's the on an international version, and it's cool. I mean, I like it. You know, obviously, you know, I'm not a kid. I don't stay at home all day, so I don't have time to play nonstop. But I am putting my time into it, and it's enjoyable, I think.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying that, like, it. I mean, like, you can go back and really appreciate that game now, versus when it came out in some ways.
Triple M,
Okay,
you're a
then.
man.
So, what have I been playing? Oh, jeez. Not much.
The
Not-
life
not
story.
much.
That's what you've been playing. The life story.
No, like these classes been kicking my ass, and work's been kicking my ass, and life's been kicking my ass, and I have been trying to get that shit under control, while at the same time, you know, keep my one player under control and everything like that. So
Nice.
it's been very interesting. So that's
Hey,
what
Red
I've been
Fox,
playing.
I gotta ask you this.
Yeah.
What do we do when we fall?
Oh, when I fall, I get back up, but that's just me.
Exactly, my friend.
I'm glad I wasn't eating just right now there, Triple M. Thanks for that extra.
Yeah, that was totally disgusting. That's why I said, man, please keep that to yourself.
That was
Please.
That's what it came out random because I was just fiddling with it, and I'm like, oh, cripes.
Triple M.
No,
of
dude.
all the things you could have typed.
Yeah, I was like, that is, and like I just ate like an hour ago.
Oh shit, man.
Man.
Apologies,
But
my
anyway,
friend.
yeah. So now that we're back, now that we've gotten that out the way,
Mr. Red Fox, you didn't do your little I don't take no bullshit for no one for the last 20 years or some shit.
Oh yes, you skipped that.
I mean, you know, I'm gonna save it for the end. I don't want to say it right now. I'm gonna save it for the end, and then, you know, save it for the end, because I know there's another podcast coming up later on, and
10-4.
I'm saving it for that. So basically, with all that being said, I guess it's time to get down to the nitty-gritty of things, and so we got to get into this first topic. Who wants to go first? Triple M?
Let me go. First,
Okay.
before I get into it, I just gotta give a shout out to Mr. T for his video titled "Why Devil Does Gets a Pass Where Splatoon Didn't," because just for his editing skills to make his contacts more gripping. The part where when you were saying people were hoo-ha and hollering, yes, this type of game that we want to see on Nintendo's platform. In that part, when he said yes, it's like it's like lip syncing, just as that bald protagonist in the sunglasses was saying yes, and then it's cut into the scene about the kimono girl. It said this type of game that we want to see, and then you see the kimono drops when he just said on a Nintendo platform. Like he did not do this.
Well, he's damn good at it. I mean,
Yeah, he's awesome.
I mean, you know, you can tell that this man has honed this craft. That this is what he does.
That's
This
his
is
job,
what he
isn't
makes his
it?
money at. Yeah,
It's his lifestyle.
and he's damn good at it. I mean, I'm not gonna begrudge the man, you know.
You don't know.
Well, that little part, felt like, yes, we wanted to see those delicious buttocks from that Komodo girl on the Nintendo platform.
They look. All I'm gonna say is this. Well, no. Go ahead. Continue, sir.
Yes. Moving on now on the topic. Now, I actually want to do a response to King Grimpachi's last vid with his kind of farewell vid. Now, sad to see it came to that with him, but to be honest, I really do understand for the fellow. But yeah, and his vid was basically a response to Mrs. T's vid that I just mentioned, and also, to my surprise, Active Gamer Life. But he started with Mrs. T's vid, saying that the reason why no one is actually up in arms of this game that has no voice chat. That people got should I say people, or should I say Nintendo fans? You know what? Let's go with people. That people got tired of doing that, doing the movement, since it didn't do much with Splatoon, and I almost agreed with him at that point. But then, okay, in first glance, when you see a game like this, which is at first glance it's a typical shooter, and I was one of the many or few, depending how you look at it, expected this game to actually have voice chat, because it leans more towards the typical, I'm using air quotations here, the typical shooters out there. But the way how Domino and Itagaki-san actually explained how this game would be played, to me it feels like it's going to be team-based, yes, but there's also a chance that players in your own team are going to backstab you, and I might see why this game does not have voice chat. But yeah, I was kind of surprised that there was no up in arms with that. But yeah, anyone else deliberate on this particular situation? This first question here.
So what is the question again? You want to answer, Mr. Red Fox? Go ahead. I'm not gonna. I'll wait for you. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll hit it first. I mean, can we just be frank here and just tell the truth? I mean, fact of the matter is that this shit has been going on for years. Okay, it's part of the Nintendo. It's part of the Nintendo rules of just the way shit is. Is that people are just gonna bitch and complain about Nintendo shit because that's what people like to do. I mean, we see this all the time. People get mad, they bitch and complain, they want X, Y, Z, and it's only an issue when Nintendo does it. If someone else does it, then it's not a problem. And we've seen this before. It happens all the damn time. And frankly speaking, I'm tired of it. I'm tired of the double standard. Because I mean the thing is this, okay? You don't like the way a game's going. Like everyone's doing fucked up shit in gaming nowadays, I mean, why is it that you only pick out what Nintendo's doing? Why don't you pick out what other folks are doing that's fucked up?
I forgot to mention this. Now, when King said that people just got tired, yeah, I mostly thought people, but then if we're actually speaking about Nintendo fans, because I have seen those same fans, they definitely would not get tired. They would still talk about it or at least.
No, I understand where you're coming from. I understand where you're coming from with that. But I mean, let's be frank. It's not Nintendo fan. Look, let me put it this way: Nintendo fans know what to expect. Okay. Like we've known since the N64 that Nintendo does not get Nintendo gets the dregs. Okay. We get the shit that fell on the floor. Okay. Like other consoles get the quote unquote creme de la creme. PC gets creme de la creme. If you're Nintendo, you get like the shit that fell on the floor that they pick up, maybe dust off, and put back on the plate, and they're like, here, right? Like last gen, 7th gen, we got Dead Space, but it was like it was on-rail shooter on the Wii. We got what was that game from Capcom, Dead Rising? Forget the name of that shitty ass game. And I mean, we got like the bootleg version of that game. I mean, like basically, we get the dregs, we get the shit that fell on the floor. So, I mean, we get a console exclusive game that the multiplayer is free to play. And from what we've seen, what the game looks like, this is like a mid-tier game. Okay, it's not going to have all the bells and whistles of a AAA game. It's not. And people who are expecting it have some weird expectations. So, I mean, just people need to learn that, you know, a game's not going to have everything you want. I mean, that's just the way it is.
Thank you for saying that part about Nintendo fans, because, like I said, if it was just Nintendo fans, we would have kept telling Nintendo, regardless of what game come out or how long this will keep happening. We will keep reminding them. But yeah, moving on. Oh, I'm sorry, Poppy, you didn't answer or get a chance to answer this, right?
I think he's getting his pizza. Yeah, his pizza came. The thing is, the thing that bothers me about people is that, like, okay, this has been a slow couple of weeks. Not a lot of news has come out. So people are just manufacturing outrage. Look, okay, let's put this shit into perspective. Okay, this game is coming out from Tomonobu Itagaki. Okay, I know some people like his games. I've always been like, his games are meh to me. He's not like Tomonobu Itagaki is a guy who talks a really big game, but when you get right down to it, he's like a mid-tier developer. Okay, he's not anything. You know, he's no Shigeru Miyamoto. Okay, he's not even Yuzo Koshiro. Okay, so I mean, what do you expect? I mean, this game, it's probably going to be fun. It's probably going to be able to do a lot of shit, but this is a game that was shopped around to many places, okay? And it you know, like, no one took it, and it was going to die unless Nintendo basically, you know, saved it. So, I mean, that should tell you something, right?
Right. Now, unless Poppy isn't back, which he's really not, move on to the other questions. Now, when Mr. T actually said about the microtransaction and the shaded DLC for Devil's Third, now, King, mind you, he didn't make any examples, which King really wanted to, and I'm like, I'm not sure if King was actually trolling, because I don't think he really is. More like he really can't think of examples himself. But I'll give examples when it comes to microtransactions, because the bad examples. Anyone remember the horse armor or speed trousers?
Well, the speed trousers were a pre-order bonus, but the horse armor, you're right, was a bad example of DLC, because you were basically paying like $6.99, $7.99 for armor for your horse. That, I mean, in Oblivion, And the thing is like the horse armor sucked anyway, so it like you're paying for something that doesn't really help you in the game any damn way. It's not even cosmetic, but whatever.
Yeah, and then which he also mentioned in this very same breath that Smash Brothers has microtransactions. And I'm like, wait a minute. I know DLC and maybe even some close to shady part, but microtransactions.
Well, I mean, it depends on how you want to define a microtransaction. If you want to define a microtransaction as a very small, business transaction between you and a purveyor of goods or services for a small, considerably insignificant product or service, then yeah. I mean, because if you look at the Mii costumes in the Mii fighter costumes in Smash Brothers, those could technically be called microtransactions, but I mean, you're really stretching the technical definition of a microtransaction if you say that.
To be honest, I would actually give example like that, the whole costumes things, as shady DLC, which is kind of like the closest that we would get at so far with Smash Brothers, because like Dr. Feelgood and the rest of you have said that we are not going to pay for something like that, and I kept quiet on the matter because I was nodding the same. I myself am not going to pay for costumes. It's almost basically like what Capcom did with
the on disc DLC.
The color
palette swaps. Well,
yeah,
I mean, the palette swaps are kind of similar, but the difference is that the Mii costumes, like, okay, the palette swaps are shady DLC because those were already on the disc, and I mean, you're not really doing anything but changing the colors that a character wears. With the Miiverse, the Mii fighter costumes, literally someone has to go and program that shit, and then you download it. Like, there's work being done. It's not just changing up some colors, which can be done easily in a program. So, I mean, like I said, technically the Mii fighters are microtransactions because it's like $1.99, $2.99, $3.99. You get this, that, and the other. I mean, it's kind of, you know, it's shady as fuck. I mean, I'm not gonna lie.
Right, and also I wanted to bring up two examples of the microtransactions that so far Nintendo has done well, which is that that free-to-play game, or just a free-to-start game, that baseball game on the 3DS, and
Rusty's Real Deal Baseball.
Thank you, and that other game, that submarine game, was it?
Steel Diver.
Blue Steel Diver, yeah.
Yeah, which, as Dr. Feelgood pointed out, it is really not ham-fisted microtransaction like almost everybody else was doing. So, yeah, there's your examples there, King Kimprachi. But yeah, now here's one thing that kind of make me question a bit of King Grimpachi's taste, but it's his taste or his opinion. Nothing against it, but it really differs with mine. When he made some examples, what bad Nintendo games that he finds, which is WarioWare, Super Mario, New Super Mario Brothers, U, Zombie U, Mario Party, even Mario and Sonic, and again, those are his opinions, but I definitely do not agree with him, because with even with New Super Mario Brothers U, if that was really a bad game, and I say this as a bad game for me, it's on a technicality standpoint.
Well, that's not
So
even a technical thing. That's subjective. I mean,
I
there are
guess,
games that people love that have sold well that I think aren't as good as people think. For
Yeah.
example, I don't think Sonic the Hedgehog was ever that good of a game. I don't think any of the platformers were that good. But I think that they were hyped up. They had good marketing, but I don't think they were all that good as games. Because the mark of a truly good game is, does it stand the test of time? Can you go 5, 10, 15, 20 years after the game came out and play it and say, wow, I appreciate this game being what it is? A lot of those Sonic games do not stand up, okay? They don't.
I can't even argue with that, but yeah. Well, now, going on that he was that this was the end for the response from Mr. T, and then he went to Active Gamers Life vid, which is a vid responding to Mr. T's as well. And I gotta say, that's one of those few vids that I really couldn't agree with Active Gamer Life, as in, because he kind of in Red Knight's vid, he kind of noticed that Red Knight is basically saying that he is taking media's word with this game and only this game, and I'm like, okay, I can see where you're getting it, or maybe it's poor choice of words Red Knight was giving, but to those in those media blackouts with Devil's Third that we heard almost nothing about it until recently.
Mm-hmm.
Red Knight did say that if Nintendo is backing away from a project or of a game, then there's probably a good reasons for it. And on that standpoint, I do agree with him. But as we all seen, that the media was basically bashing on the preview of this preview build of this game, and I'm like, I'm not sure. Something might be going on more to it. But then after Devil's Third was released on the Japanese side, I'm actually surprised that people that the Japanese are actually loving that game, and I'm like, okay, there's some dichotomy going on over here, and I'll give this game a chance, just like I give a chance to the Order 1886. Till that game comes out, I'll hold my judgments to it.
Which game? Devil's Third?
Devil's Third, yeah.
Okay.
Like, I'm not going to take it that far. What I will say is this. I'm not going to judge a game until I can play it.
Same here.
So I played the Order 1886. I can tell you right now, it's a piece of shit. Anyone who comes up to you and tells you that that game is good, they're lying to you. Okay? It looks good. Graphically, it does look good. But by all other metrics of a game, like replayability, fun factor, all that type of stuff, it fails in the other three major forms, and 25% out of 100 still is an F. Okay. That being said, I mean, Devil's Third looks fun. It doesn't look like they spent a lot of money on the graphical engine.
No.
But they probably, you have to remember, this game was originally supposed to be made for the PS3 and Xbox 360, and it looks like a PS3, Xbox 360 game. Like, that's what it was made for. And clearly, Nintendo, if they bankrolled this game getting finished, because that's what they did. They didn't bankroll it getting made. They bankrolled it getting finished.
Yeah.
They weren't going to spend a ton of money fucking getting a new engine, because every time a game jumps to a new engine, you're doubling the development cost almost. It's going up by a huge amount. And before we go any further, those of you who are watching this on Google Plus, you can ask questions, and we will answer them as time goes on. So just wanting to get that through. So any further thoughts on King Grimpachi? Grimpachi's answer video?
I got two more. Oh, go ahead, Poppy.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I've been eating pizza. Pizza just arrived. So, you know, obviously the you know, Mr. Grimpachi, he has his opinions on what he thinks is his perspective on how people have received. I guess you were saying that he was countering Mr. T's video. Is that what you're talking about, Triple M?
More like he's actually answering Mrs. T's vid while also countering Red Knight's vid.
Okay, so he was counting Reds. Okay, well, you know, I mean, I don't have anything to say against that. I just think that we complain for stuff that we want, and then when we get what we want, which is a mature type shooter multiplayer experience, we complain about it because
it's not exactly what they wanted.
It doesn't have everything that we wanted in it. I mean, I always look at it from the 80-20 rule. If it's got 80% of what I want and 20% what I don't want, I should be happy with it, you know? And, you know, if you get 100% of what you want, you still may not be happy because, you know, most gamers nowadays are actually, you know, they act like spoiled children at times. I don't know why, but I guess that's just the nature.
Well, because they are spoiled children.
Yeah. I mean, consider this, folks. There's how many billions of people live on this planet? You know, billions and billions of people, and only a fraction of these people are able to experience console gaming and purchase $60 games on a consistent basis. So we should. I mean, I consider myself blessed. You know, considering the fact that you know, we didn't have much growing up, but you know, one thing we did was have the ability, you know, to play video games. You know, and that in itself, you know, is awesome. And I still consider it one of the greatest forms of art ever. You know, because the amount of effort that goes into creating these projects is amazing, simply amazing. And so, for me to criticize something like that, you know, it's just it's silly because maybe I'm just getting soft in my old age, Mr. Red Fox. But I just think there's energy's better spent elsewhere. And the fact is that we're getting this freaking amazing shooter, and the fact is that Nintendo of America held back the release date because they want to make sure that when the American gamers or North American gamers get this experience, it's putting its best foot forward. Essentially, what we can take it as, the Europeans and the Japanese are basically the beta testers for this game right now.
Yeah.
Which is their smallest market.
Exactly, because this game is built for the dude bro. I mean, I hate to say this, but it's more of the dude bro market, and the dude bro market ain't in Japan.
This game, I believe, will sell 1 million, easy.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably going to do well. I don't think it's not going to do well.
It's going to do very well.
I just think that, like, the thing that gets me is that people always think that everything has to cater to them. Like, if it doesn't have everything that they want, they get mad. But here's the thing. You know, and I mean, I've gotten into debates with people about this. Look, just like no game is going to have everything you want, no console is going to have everything you want. It's fiction, okay? No, the only thing that could have everything you want is if you spend like $5,000 and get like a gaming PC that's almost to the level of a really weak workstation PC that a developer would have. Then maybe you would have something that for the next 3 or 4 years would be able to do everything. But that's about it.
Yeah.
I mean, in gaming wise, that's the only way. And even then, you wouldn't get to play.
Everything.
Yeah, you wouldn't get to play console exclusive games. So you wouldn't get to play Uncharted. You wouldn't get to play Ratchet and Clank, whatever the fuck next one's coming out. So even then, you're still gonna be missing out on some games. So I mean, just people need to understand that you're not gonna get everything, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, that's life.
Yeah. Well, well, this next one, I almost forgotten about this question here, but when the discussion was bringing up Wii Sports Resorts Club, like that was one of the few games that we actually latched on Nintendo on that day. And on my specific viewpoint, I was bashing on Resort Club because of the basis of that game. It was online focused, and that part did not go so well in its release, or even the online is still acting up to this day, right?
Not
Or is it?
particular. The problem with Wii Sports, the Wii Sports re-release for the Wii U. The problem with that was that they did not have the infrastructure in place for them to have all that stuff. And here's the thing: for motion control, you're not going to have the type of infrastructure you need to play those types of games. Now, maybe now that they're starting to get those dedicated servers from DNA. If they were to switch those games over to dedicated servers, you might get better results if you have good internet. But I mean, it was not very good at the time. It just was not. I think Nintendo panicked because the Wii U was starting to lose momentum at that time, and they thought that they could get that casual crowd to jump from the Wii to the Wii U. But the thing is that a lot of the casual people that bought a Wii are still playing their Wii. They're perfectly happy with their Wii, you know? I mean, you know.
Right.
You know.
And I gotta say this. I was actually bashing on Wii Sports Resorts Club really hard because, yes, the basis of that game was online focus, which is, I'm going to give another example, which was a similar situation with Smash Brothers Brawl. That game's online was also not up to snuff, but I didn't bash it as hard with Resorts Club because it actually has offline function. So, yeah. So I kind of gave Brawl a half pass at that, but
yeah, but don't we have to give Wii Sports the re-release for the Wii Sports line a pass as well, because those games also had a semi-robust all the shit you could do online you could also do locally.
Oh, so you can do things. You can play that game locally as well.
Yeah, it wasn't online only. I mean, I don't.
Well, the way
if someone told you that, then they were lying to you in order to make a point.
Well, the way that Nintendo actually marketed that game, which is, I caught it as a more online focused game, which is
No, it had the online ability. Like if you were playing tennis or bowling, you could like play against other people and form like a little virtual league, and have your Mii's bowl and box and against each other. But you could also do that shit locally. Like if you had two Wiimotes and two nunchucks, you could play the games side by side. It was really like you did with the original. They didn't take out features in order to put it to add to online features. So.
All right, fair enough, but still, one point abstracted to Nintendo of that Wii Sports Resource Club debacle. But anyway, now, while I did bash the game on the technicality standpoint, now King Pastor also brought up the fact that looking at the gameplay mechanics with Devil's Third, it looks it looks to have a clunky experience. Now, he did bring up examples that other games with that similar clunky experience, which was Gears of War, No More Heroes. Now, with games like Gears of War, design-wise, it looks like it's a slow-pacing game. The way how your characters walk, but to be honest, I wouldn't see that as a drawback for this particular game or game of that similar design, because even when it was slow, the animation was pretty darn smooth. As with No More Heroes, yeah, that game you can feel and see that it was clunky all over. But again, this is like a design choice, or should I say, okay, for the lack of a better word, a signature move for that for Suda51 developer, because all of his games has that clunky mechanic. So with Devil's Third, the only thing I could actually see, or that was could have been a detriment to me, a design choice, was the funky collision or hit detection. But
On what
again,
game?
excuse me?
Which game?
For Devil's Third.
You play?
Now,
Has anybody here played that game yet?
That's the thing. Like, no one, like, all we know about the game is just what we saw. We saw what we saw at the Treehouse last year. What we at E3. What we've seen, like, like review stuff. We haven't really seen. No one's played the game. There's not a demo for it. So, I mean, a lot of people's concerns, I don't know. Like, we just don't know. The game could be ass. I don't know, because, like, I haven't played it yet.
I saw that ass when that kimono fell there, Mr. Red Fox.
Yeah, there was. I mean, there is some ass in the game, but it could play like ass. The game could also play like ass. And personally speaking, I don't want it to play like ass.
You guys read you've read the comments regarding the Famitsu's review. Famitsu. Famitsu gave it high scores. They gave it 8s and 9s.
They liked it. Yeah, they liked it. So, and here's
if anybody knows anything about Famitsu, Mr. Red Fox,
yeah,
Famitsu isn't just one reviewer. Famitsu has
it's like 4 or 5 people.
Yeah, it's several reviewers, and they all give it their individual scores. And so when a game scores above 30 or something, it's doing all right. It's not that bad.
Yeah. So, I mean, me personally, the way I look at it is like this, okay? Famitsu is one of the few gaming publications that they'll let you know when a game is ass, okay? Like, they will let you know. I trust Famitsu a little bit more than I trust, say...
Yeah, it's 4 reviewers. Yeah.
Well, not just that. It's like when a game is shit, they'll let you know it's shit.
Yes.
They don't like fucking, like IGN and EGA. They're like, yeah, this game has no redeeming features. Fuck it. They're Japanese, so they don't say that. But you get, they score it appropriately. So,
they're very consistent with it. They gave.
If Famitsu says it's good, then I'll give it a chance. Because, here's the thing. Like I said earlier, before we start, go to someone else's topic, because we've spent way too long on this one.
There's one last one, because this is the kicker.
Go ahead, Triple. Go ahead.
Here's the thing that kind of grind my gears. What Red Knight was saying, because he was saying something to this in this way, as in Devil's Third has no real ties to Nintendo. And when I heard that, I'm like,
he said it has no real what?
No real ties to Nintendo.
Really? Because they paid for it to get completed. So I
Yeah,
mean,
their name's on the
they've
publish
got money.
everywhere.
Yeah, they're
Every,
publishing it everywhere. So
yeah. It's
Because
their joint.
because when I heard Red Knight saying that, I hope that was poor choice of words, because if you really meant to say it like that, then Wonderful 101 has no real ties to Nintendo, or Bayonetta 2 has no
I
real
think what he's trying to say, and I don't know, I didn't watch the video, but I like Red Knight myself. I'm a big fan of the guy. He's always got some good topics, and he articulates them very well. So shout out to the man. But the thing is this, in my perspective, Devil's Third wasn't a creation within Nintendo itself. It was a third party. Yeah, it was a third party developer that came in needing some support, and the last bridge that he could cross was Nintendo.
that would fall as the same way as Bayonetta 2. Moving on. I'll keep going.
Yeah, go ahead, Triple.
No. I was just cutting off saying that Bayonetta 2 falls in that same category, but go on.
Yeah. I mean, I I think that obviously they had the majority of the game, or if not halfway through the game, completed. But from my understanding, Tomonobu Itagaki did an interview after the passing of Mr. Iwata, may he rest in peace, talking about how it was actually Iwata that allowed that project to be onboarded with Nintendo. Meaning Nintendo, he said, we don't have a game like that, so let's do it. It's like he came in with a bunch of like sketch boards and I don't even think he showed him any prototype. He just had drawings and storyboard art and stuff like that, and explained the direction of the game. And he was like, "Let's do it." So
I gotta find that interview myself.
you guys, it's somewhere on there. You could just find it. Just put his name in, and it'll pop up. And he gave credit to him. He says, "Look, this is information that usually doesn't get out to the public, but when they went back after E3." E3 2014, I guess there was a big uproar about the graphics quality and stuff. This was before it was moved over to Unreal Engine 3.
And even after that, it still looks good.
And so they what they did was I believe they completed the game on their proprietary engine, because Itagaki, he was working on this game on his own engine. He created his own engine for this game, specifically for this game. So obviously, the game's graphics were tailored more for PS3 and Xbox 360, right? Because that's what the target platforms were for it at the time.
Yep.
However, I believe he mentioned something to the effect of, we completed the project after we showed it off at E3 2014 with the treehouse and all that stuff was going on. There was a big uproar about the graphics, so we went back to, I think he said Iwata, and Iwata said, okay, well, since your heart's in this game, you accomplished a lot with it, I guess he approved them to transfer it over to Unreal Engine 3. So Unreal Engine 3, obviously, when you transfer assets to a new engine, like Mr. Red Fox was talking about, that adds another element of cost, right? Plus time. Yep. So between 2014 and now, have they had enough time to get it tweaked out like it should be for the new engine? I don't know.
No one knows.
I can only assume that they probably didn't have enough time, which is why some of these early previews are bashing it. Yeah. And my understanding is that Nintendo of America also sees these things, and they're willing to hold it back a little bit longer so it gets corrected. So I don't see what the big deal polishing. Is. Yeah.
And I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna say the game doesn't need polishing, because
of course. I mean,
like, here's the thing, okay? Tomonobu Itagaki, okay? All of his games, like, the first time they come out, they suck, okay? And then they make a second version that fixes all the fuck-ups with the first version.
You're right. Yeah, exactly.
That's his, because, look, I hate to say this, I said this earlier, Tomonobu Itagaki could not work at Nintendo, okay? Okay, he couldn't... He couldn't hack them. He couldn't cut the mustard there. Okay, he's not that good of a developer to work there. So that's his thing. He's not good enough. Sorry. I mean,
But essentially, you know, this guy gets a lot of flack for this project because it took so long to get it done. But something that I like to remind the viewers out there and folks out there that don't understand some of this stuff, you know, it they basically split the resources when they create a single player campaign, all right?
Yep.
And then they have to create a multiplayer experience, which is very, I have to say, very advanced and full of content, right?
Oh yeah. There's
And
a lot of shit going on in that multiplayer, and that's why I'm getting.
Yeah.
that multiplayer is crazy. They could sell that game on multiplayer alone, and that's what I think is going to happen. Because it's the Japanese players are enjoying it, and they're not big into first-person shooters, from my understanding.
From what I understand, the multiplayer basically lets you create a clan, and then you can like go and like play in matches. But the cool thing is that you can attack other people's clan headquarters, and like in the matches you get money, which you can use to upgrade your character. But you also get money for your clan, which you can use to upgrade your clan headquarters, like add turrets and shit to defend it when you're attacked. So there's like a lot of like there's some Team Fortress shit going on in there. I mean, you know, look, Tomonobu Itagaki talks a really big game. I hope the game meets some of those objectives. We're joined by someone else who popped in here, but I didn't give them a chance to introduce themselves. But I'm going to let them introduce himself because I think we've.
I apologize, KH. My apologies.
That's fine.
I think we are joined by KH Anime, the Mario Man.
What's going on, you two? Your boy KH Anime here. Keep in mind, you every single time I'm here to keep calm and game on.
Goddamn.
Yeah, especially you know, a certain fan base. I ain't gonna mention it, but you get my drift.
3DO fans, Sega CD fans. Neo Geo.
He's talking about the SNK fans, man. You know that.
Neo Geo fanboy.
Oh, come on now. You put me on the spot now.
No, this divided fan base known as the Nintendo community.
Is it divided? I don't think it is.
Well, I say divided because when E3 2015 happened, it caused a rift. Just a whole explosion of eruption of sorts. That's what I call it. Yeah, some saying, "Oh, I'm with them to the end." You got others, "Oh no, what's going on? NX will save humanity."
Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah, keep on thinking that. I guess it's time to get to one of these questions, and then we'll move on to the. Well, no. Anyone have another topic they want to bring up before we start getting to questions or anything like that?
I have something minor, and it's like I'm seeing these things. I'm seeing videos and like threads and whatnot talking about Super Mario Maker, and people complaining about, why is this game $60? And I'm like, they don't realize.
Are you kidding me?
Yes, there's videos saying, "Oh, I'm not getting the game because it's $60."
Which game?
Super
Mario Maker.
But that shit comes with so much content alone.
Exactly.
And if I'm not mistaken, isn't that like also including the 4 games themselves? Aren't you getting all 4 games?
Pretty much. I don't understand.
And then you get free levels from like elite developers in the world. Like Michael Ansel, the creator of Rayman.
There's 60 levels
okay.
in the game. Okay. Now, initially there's only 10. And you unlock more as time goes on. But here's the kicker: because the game is online enabled, you can play other people's levels. So technically speaking, this game is like Little Big Planet, but good because Little Big Planet's physics suck as a platformer. You're getting the king of platformers in a platforming game made by people who know what the fuck they're doing, and you can do all types of cool shit with it.
What if they did something like a I'm sorry, Cage. Go ahead.
I'll say it's technically like a full scale on Mario game, because when you do the 10 Mario 100 Mario challenge, it's always 8 stages that's randomly selected from online. It's like like a new game, and it's always different.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing with me. If the game came out just how they showed it for the first time, I think it was last year, with and only showed what they had from last year. Okay, I can see that could be $30, even $20, and even if and I could even see that it was just only a digital release. But then after the stuff that I've seen recently, I'm like, this is definitely a $60 package. I don't care. That's bloody hell of a content right there.
Let me put it this way: when they let you basically put the game into Super Mario World for the SNES engine,
yeah,
I'm done. You got me, because that's my favorite Mario. That's my favorite 2D Mario of all time.
I think
Super Mario World.
Mine. Yeah.
Yeah, everyone has their favorite, but my favorite is Super Mario World, followed by Super Mario 3, and then New Super Mario Brothers U. The original, I can take it or leave it. Really,
yeah.
I can take it or leave it.
Same here.
I've played it, I've beaten it, but it's not my favorite. But when they gave me Super Mario World, I was like, I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. Give me the cape feather. I'm just gonna fly through this whole fucking level.
There's some stuff I didn't even expect to see they actually put in there. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Let me ask you guys a question on the panel. Who's not buying it?
I could raise my hand. I'll probably pass it. Maybe later down the line, I'll actually buy it.
Do you play these games, or you don't like these type of games?
The creating aspect, not really.
Yeah, you don't like these type of games, like Minecraft. Some people don't like that shit.
Well, I mean, it's not even that. It's like I know I'm probably not gonna create any levels, but I want to play people's levels.
Yeah, I'm getting a day one regardless. So
same here. That's a day one.
I'm waiting till midnight and get it.
I'd buy that over Black Ops 3. I mean, Black Ops 3 really doesn't.
Oh snap!
I'm not going to get started with Black Ops because, I mean, we already know what's going to happen in that game.
It's going to come out too. That's all it is.
It's going to sell. It's going to sell like 3-4 million in 2 or 3 weeks. Then by Christmas, it's going to be $30. By next year, by March, it's going to be like $19.99. And then then around April or May, they'll launch the ultimate
DLC.
pack.
The DLC pack, yeah.
Which is going to have everything on it.
Drew, what's going on, Drew?
Well, hello there, Drew.
What's happening? I guess he's having mic issue.
Okay, well,
okay, just a little bit more from me. Like the people that complain about the whole price and whatnot, it's like, I guess they don't want Nintendo to make profits. They got to make profits somehow out of this game, and it's going to make profit regardless. Because look at all the hype, just because.
Look, dude, don't you know that Nintendo is not allowed to make money?
Yeah,
like when the Wii U finally started making money for them, people like, well, they need to drop the price of the Wii U and then it'll sell more. I'm like,
it could be a charity.
Who in here heard the cries and the complaints and the groans and the moans from the mass gamers out there that wanted Fatal Frame to come over? And now we're getting Fatal Frame, and I don't hear anybody talking about that.
People are mad because they think it's going to be digital only, and I'm like, well,
that game looks amazing. I mean, it looks freaking phenomenal. It's beautiful, beautiful game.
There's been no confirmation that it was going to be digital only, and people.
Did anyone listen to that dude who got fired at Nintendo?
Yeah.
I haven't seen the podcast, but.
Well, I heard the podcast, and he told some harsh truths to these fanboys. Yeah. Look,
and and some stuff that
costs money.
There's some aspects that even I thought. I don't think Nintendo gave you the approval to say all of those.
No, they didn't. They didn't. But he told the truth.
He told the truth. He told the truth. He told us what we've always wanted to hear, and then
no. He told people what they didn't want to hear. But
no. I'm saying. A lot of gamers out there always want to know what's going on behind the scenes, why they make certain decisions. Well, he told you.
Go.
Yeah.
Okay,
Well, I
this shit costs money. Okay, they bring over Fatal Frame 5. They print up like 3 million discs, okay, and make 3 million cases and all that shit.
Yeah.
That is millions of dollars, and
Exactly.
only like 500,000 units sell. They just have this inventory lying around.
Yeah.
Nintendo's not gonna do that. That's fucking stupid for a game. Look, Fatal Frame is a niche franchise, okay?
yeah. So like what? So exactly what did he say? Like a little like can you give a gist of it? Because I don't know if it's on YouTube, the podcast itself.
Basically, he said that people say, why doesn't Nintendo localize games? It's like, well, the thing is that the people who are really vocal are a small minority.
Yeah,
And
I said
so
that
if
before
Nintendo
too.
localizes this game, they're not going to make their money back. And people like really, he just told the truth, and he was frank and unabashed about it. Like he wasn't like Dan Adelman, that piece of shit. Like he wasn't like disrespectful, but he showed the man behind the curtain a little too much, and so Nintendo had to drop his ass because he didn't get they're clear to
Yeah.
have that thing.
Exactly.
And I'm sorry, but I mean that sucks. But I mean, if you get a chance to look it up, the Dan Pranger, I forget his name,
Chris Pranger.
interview.
Chris Pranger.
Chris Pranger. If you get a chance, it's a really good. It's like an hour and 20 minutes, but it's really good.
Also, like my thing with the whole Super Mario Maker thing is like if you got like people complain about this and that or whatever, it's like if you don't want to get the game, if you want to complain
Don't buy it.
about it that bad, go download
Don't buy it.
Lunar Magic for a computer and make your own levels that way.
No, don't look. If you don't want to buy the game, don't buy it. But quit bitching about it.
Yeah.
You're like a woman who keeps on bitching about. You're like a woman who keeps on bitching about shit. After a certain point, it's just what's the point,
Yeah.
But let's get to some of these questions.
Okay.
Because we got to get to some of these questions. Who'd have thought we'd have a Splatfest based around Transformers? Does this mean Pandora's box has been opened yet again with the possibilities? Anyone want to bet an amiibo that we'll get a Jedi versus Sith one to promote the movie? Could be. But I only have one thing to say about next week. Autobots, roll out!
Transform.
But if they really wanted to be cool, they should have gone Beast Wars and said Maximals versus Predacon.
Oh no! Oh God,
I
man!
hated that show, man. I didn't like
Don't
that
push
at all.
my heart! Don't push my heart! You're getting there.
Well, it would have made sense because they're squids. They're like animals.
Yeah.
So it made more sense than have Autobots versus Decepticon. But whatever. Despite wanting Nintendo to have third-party collaborations, most scoff at Skylanders, Puzzle and Dragons Mario Edition, Project Treasure, and many other things to mention. Do those people actually just want a Call of Duty or Battlefield exclusive to the Wii U? Anderson Archilla. Who wants to tackle that one?
We already have that. It's called Devil's Third.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say
I mean-
Splatoon right there, but yeah.
Can we be frank? The people who are bitching about, I'd say 80% of the people who are bitching about third-party games on Nintendo platforms, they're not even bitching because they want third-party games on Nintendo platforms. They just want to bitch because they just want to bitch.
Oh,
Here's the thing. Okay, they're like, okay, I want third-party games on the Wii U. Fair enough. Okay, they say they want Nintendo to have third-party collaborations. Okay, their home consoles have not had good third-party support since the SNES, really. So, but their handhelds have always had really good third-party support. So why don't you get their fucking handheld? You can play all the third-party games you want. And they show their ass. That's different. Okay. They just pick and choose.
Yeah, speaking about
No one has.
Skylanders,
Yeah.
I have to admit, but um, for the people that keep saying that the Wii U is weak, seeing that Skylanders game, I'm like, dang, that yeah, that puts everyone eats crow.
But you know it doesn't count because you can't see it all the sweat and pores coming off a man's head.
Oh, I thought you were going to mention about it has clouds in there that you can't see anything.
No, it's just bull. Like I said, a lot of these people, it's just a talking point. It's like talking shit. It's like a dude with a girlfriend, but she's fat, and you don't have a girlfriend, so you pick on the girl because she's fat. It's like, look, I don't care. Look, get a little graphic. Look, she may be fat, but he's still hitting it. And your ass just got Rosie Palm and her 5 sisters. So I'm sorry, but you are the loser in this equation.
And then the 5 sisters, that's what you say?
Rosie Palm and the 5 sisters. Once a company goes mobile and pachinko, is there really no turning back, Anderson Archilla? Let me tell you something, Anderson Archilla. A company going mobile and pachinko is like going black. Once you go black, you never go back.
I want to say something about this because I wanted to bring up a topic about this. S&K. What the bloody... Okay, early this week, we've heard that S&K was being bought by a Chinese company, and that Chinese company was actually going to make plans of broadenizing, or expanding their marketing, or for lack of a better word, better market S&K Playmore's franchises like Fatal Fury, Samurai Showdown, Ikari Warriors, all of that. And there was also going to be some movie deals on that for those franchises as well. And I'm like, okay, it's a good plan, but in the back of my mind, I hope this is not going to be a similar situation to Resident Evil, Super Mario Brothers, heck, even Dead or Alive. Dear God! But I was like, hopefully they will do this well. But then, just this week, I saw Event Status Vid updating that story about SNK Playmore that they're going the pachinko slot route, and I'm like, son of a. Ugh. And you know, it's so bad to me. Now I'm starting to wishing that they might as well go mobile than pachinko. That's how bad this situation is to me.
Yeah, but SNK is known for their fighting games. Do you know how shitty it would be to play a fighting game on a mobile, like on a smartphone? Actually, I do know because Street Fighter is on mobile. Yeah, Capcom, you geniuses.
Oh man, but yeah.
Look, can we just look? I'm just gonna break this down for you. SNK died when arcades died. Okay, and SNK and Sega were the models of their own destruction because Sega they did their best work in the arcades. SNK did their best work in the arcades, and when they started trying to make arcade perfect games for the home console market, they destroyed their own fucking market because they were dumb as fuck. And SNK with fucking Neo Geo, $600. No, Neo Geo was $800. Neo Geo, $800 goddamn dollars. Who the fuck are you to sell an $800 console? Seriously, who?
Them big ass cartridges too, man.
$200 for a goddamn game. What? Who are you?
I gotta say, 3 companies that I actually looked up to. 2 of them are in the crapper.
Yeah, and they about to get flushed because they were stupid. I mean, look. Let me put it this way, okay? Look, I can admire a lot of Sega's franchises. I can admire a lot of SNK's franchises. Hell, I can admire a lot of Hudson Soft's and NEC's franchises. but man, did they make some bad business decisions. I mean, fucking horrific. Anyway, that's just my own.
No, you're right, Red Fox. It's just sad because like all these companies, these Japanese companies we grew to love back in the 90s, 80s for maybe some of you guys, and like even the early 2000s, you just seeing what they becoming and turning into. It's a sad time. It's like
I think they did some stupid shit.
It's like for Western, it's like yeah, it's sad that when some of them go the way they was, but Japan companies, that's a big deal.
Yeah, because normally Japanese companies are way more stable than Western companies, but
Yeah.
you know, they started becoming very westernized, and it screwed them up the ass. We have a comment here from One White Kong. Aw, shit, son, Mr. Red Fox. By the way, this is One White Kong. Yeah, I saw that, and I just responded to that.
James Wade.
One more comment. What's going on?
Yeah. Why do you think the Smash? Why do you think the Smash DLC is being handled the way it is? When compared to the likes of Mario Kart 8 and Hyrule Warriors, they really screwed the pooch with Smash. I'll tell you why. Because Namco Bandai is involved with it, and Namco Bandai are assholes. Because notice, Hyrule Warriors was Tecmo Koei, or sorry, Koei Tecmo, whatever. Those people. And the DLC for that, like you $20, you get the season pass, you get all this shit. Or you can wait for the 3DS version and get even more DLC in one cartridge. They made their money many times over on that game. You know, you look at Mario Kart 8, you pay like $13.99, or was it like, no, it was $12.99, no, it was $11.99, and you got like $15 worth of DLC, like just insane amounts of like value. And then you get Smash Brothers, which is like they nickel and dime. Like I got all of the DLC characters and stages for just the second installment for just the Wii U, and it was like $21. I'm like, this is some bullshit. I'm sorry. Like I would rather them say here's a $30 season pass, because you know it's gonna have a lot of shit. This nickel and dime shit is bullshit. But I'm not gonna blame Nintendo for it, because we've seen with other games that Nintendo did by themselves or with a company that wasn't shit, the DLC that was there was really good. So I'm gonna blame, like, when you look at an experiment and when you do an experiment, you look at variables. Now the variables is that Nintendo and some company, but then you see, okay, Nintendo by themselves with Mario Kart 8, good DLC. Nintendo with Hyrule Warriors, that's Tecmo Koei / Omega Force, good DLC. Nintendo Namdai or Bamco, shitty DLC. What changed? Nintendo's a constant.
I
forgot to bring up.
Can I say something? Go ahead, Triple M. Go ahead.
I forgot to bring up another example of a microtransaction game that was made by Nintendo. Actually, I forgot this company's name, but it was a free to start game, Pokemon free to start game. Got what it's called because
Pokemon Rumble.
Yes, that one.
Pokemon Shuffle.
Yeah, Pokemon Shuffle. Because I was surprised that Dr. Feelgood mentioned that game, and the microtransaction part, again, not ham-fisted as the rest.
Exactly. So, I mean, Nintendo is the constant variable, right? And then you look at, like, when other companies are involved, it tends not to be horrific, because Pokemon is HAL Labs and the Pokemon Company and Nintendo. They're two completely different entities, even though Nintendo owns like 60% of that company. Okay. But then you look at the one difference where their DLC is shit, and it's Namco Bandai, and Namco Bandai has been fucked up for years. So I'm still pissed off they haven't made a good Tales game in like 10 years.
Mr. Red Fox, I have to expose myself. I pre-ordered that Tales from Estonia on Steam.
Yeah, I did too. I did it, but I did it for the Tales of Symphonia game that comes with it. That's what.
Well,
I want Tales of Symphonia on PC.
just so you are aware, and all the fans out there, I did pre-order, meaning they charge you right away, right? You get charged right away for it.
Yeah.
You have to pay
Here's all
for it
I'm
right
gonna
away.
say.
It's not like a $5. You got to pay for it right away.
No, you
So
pay for the whole thing.
So hopefully it's not
Yeah.
buggy. That's what I'm saying.
I hope it's good. I hope that they go back to making games like Tales of Symphonia and not that Tales of Zillia bullshit where you go from small little map to small little map to small little map fighting the same monsters with palette swaps. Pfft, bullshit. Damn, fuck you, Namco Bandai.
I don't know, man. I'm a big Tales of series.
I'm a Tales fan too, but I like
I'm a
the old
series
Tales
fan for life, man.
where you have that huge world to explore and towns and shit. I don't like this shit where they're like trying to economize and make it cheap. Man, fuck
But
that.
if somebody tells me, I'm telling you something. If that game is broken and buggy as shit on a PC, that'd be the last time I ever pre-order a fucking game on PC.
From Namco Bandai, yeah. Namdai. On Steam, yeah.
I think it's gonna be all right. I mean, it's gonna be all right game. I think it's already been released, right? It got good scores, right?
No, it's an RPG. So I mean, look, let me put it this way: I haven't enjoyed a Tales game from Namco Bandai for almost 10 years now. So, over 10 years, because Tales of Symphonia came out in 2004, I think, if I remember correctly. So I'm not really all that enthralled with their Tales games over the last few years. I played all of them except for the one on the Xbox 360, but then I went back and borrowed my friend's
Vesperia.
I borrowed his 360 and played that one, and that's a really good one. That's one of the
hell
few
of a
good
game. That is a hell of a game.
I mean, Vesperia is more like, to me, Vesperia felt like
it was so well done.
It felt like, it felt like it was made by the same people who made Symphonia.
I love the CGI in these games, man. I mean, like the anime CGI. It's amazing.
Yeah. I mean, so we have another question from Anderson Archilla. So with Microsoft supposedly stopping with money hatting, Steam offering refunds, and third parties avoiding Nintendo platforms no matter how dire the circumstance, does this mean they'll all flock off to Sony and make them even more complacent? Yeah, until Sony can't afford it anymore. See, here's the thing.
I would definitely agree. Sorry.
Sony can only afford to money hat so much shit. So you're finding that a lot of the smaller, like mid-tier games that are going on Sony's platforms that are bombing are hurting these companies. So Sony is whatever profit they're making, they're losing by money hatting. So plus they got to pay for their own in-house development. So I mean, it's just Sony is still fucking up. I've never seen a company that has a chance to not fuck up and then goes and fucks up again. I don't.
But 25 million. It's the next PlayStation 2.
No, 25 million shipped, not 25 million sold. So let's get that out the way first.
My question is, why do people think that it's actually going to be the second coming to PlayStation 2? I'm like, the industry has drastically changed for the worse. I don't see why people still can't see that.
Well, the problem is that, and this is why I originally made this podcast, the problem is that third parties have begun to control what happens in the video game industry. That is not a good thing. It is not good when third parties control, because, I mean, I hate to say this, but the third parties are basically it's kind of like, okay, Drew is a developer, okay? He's a developer, okay? And let's say he bought, paper. Let's say for some reason he needed paper, right, for a project that he was doing. And some motherfucker, the person who delivered his paper is a third party. And he's the first party because he's the one making all this shit happen. But, he still needs the paper to make the shit happen. But the paper guy's telling him how to make a fucking game. That's basically going to dictate to him how to make the fucking... I mean, that's basically third parties to first parties. They're like, well, you need to do it like this. It's like, you need to shut the fuck up because you don't know what my finances are. You don't know what I got. That's what you
There
need
you go.
to do.
That's Mr. Red Fox right there. There you go, Mr. Red Fox.
You need to shut the fuck up. That's what
Get
you
it back
need
into
to
the
do.
groove.
Yeah, I mean that's basically, and the thing is that you got these fake ass gamers popping up. You got these fake ass gamers popping up, and they're like, well, maybe we need to give them. Now I'm not saying that all third parties are shit.
No.
They aren't. I think a lot of the mid-tier third parties are great. I think the big ones are the problem, because the big ones have shareholders who don't care about the artistry of making games. They're just like, F you, we want to see return on our investment, and they don't give a shit. They're like they took like basically like EA, Activision, Ubisoft, they took this money like that was money hatting, and they put it into like they treated it like it was income. But you can't treat a handout like it's income, because a handout is something that comes out every once in a while as long as they can afford to give you a handout. But Sony's going broke, and Microsoft's like, we're about to roll this shit into the Windows division, and we're going to be on like 60 million platforms once we roll this shit in to the Windows 60 to 100 million platforms.
Yeah,
So
no, it's cheap to get into.
we're not going to need. Yeah, you're going to have to put your shit on our platform whether you want to or not.
The Wii U development cost to start up, I've checked it out myself. It's very cheap, and as a matter of fact, they have like a layaway program sort of thing. I call it a layaway. You pay over time. You basically pay. No, you pay over time.
No, I'm being facetious, dude.
Oh, okay.
We all know that Nintendo wants our firstborn children. If you want to work with them, and you're left nut.
and I don't know if you guys have noticed, like a lot of indie developers that like were hesitant to jump on to the platform. I think they've taken how do I say, liking to the framework, the web framework, which makes it easy to transfer like HTML and all the other coding, internet coding.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah, I was hearing that too. That a lot of the developers didn't jump in, and that was before E3. Because I've seen the news, like there was some that even wanted to drop out, and I think it's because there was some sort of an iffy problem in Europe.
In Europe there was a thing.
Yeah.
They were having a difficulty with like there was an issue with the licensing in Europe, but then they switched to a new licensing program, so it worked out better. I mean, the thing is this. The thing is this. If you like Iwata said, if you listen to the people who actually wanted to work with Nintendo, and like weren't trying to fuck them over, they actually, like, those people are like, they're pretty good. The people who had the issue with Nintendo are your EAs, your Ubisofts, your Activisions. The people who basically want to rule the industry, and basically that have spent the last 2 gens having Microsoft and Sony bent over with their pants down around their ankles going to town. Those are the ones who have an issue with Nintendo, because Nintendo's like, hey, we don't play that game around here. And they don't like that.
Go to town. Turn around.
Mr. Red Fox got a second wind in already.
I was people talking about third-party support, Wii U this, Wii U that. Like, people don't realize that a lot of the issues is not from the developers, but it's the publishers that don't want to put the game on the console.
Well, yeah, it is the publishers. It is the publishers, and I mean, like like one of our panelists said, or typed or whatever.
Yeah.
It is more complicated than that. I understand that. It's not like all, but I think generally speaking, I think generally speaking it is an issue with like, at the end of the day, this shit boils down to money. Okay?
All about the money, man.
And once people understand this shit boils down to money, it gets a lot easier to understand what it's about, why a lot of the decisions are made. And
Mr.
you know,
Mr. Red Fox, Mr. Red Fox, let me interrupt you for a moment. How much money do you got in your pocket right now?
What's in your wallet?
well,
No,
like
let me ask you another
cash
question.
or just in general.
How big is your bank account? Can you tell us?
Oh
Oh,
God.
the specifics now.
My personal bank account, not my business bank account, I have like 20,000 in there right now.
Okay, so let me get 50 of that so I can work with you. You know what I'm saying?
What?
You see how ridiculous that sounds? But that's essentially
Yeah.
what's happened over the years. I mean, a lot of developers and publishers, especially the publishers, those are the money guys, the faceless suits of the industry. They understand that the Nintendo as a corporation, they have a big ass bank vault full of money, like the Scrooge McDucks of the day, and they know that some of that money could be theirs if they just make them suffer enough. You know, make them suffer long enough.
Well, that's what they think. I mean, that's what people don't understand is that like Nintendo is sitting on this massive,
By the way, Mr.
money
Red
vault.
Fox, you could have said $1 million. I didn't give a fuck. I would have said half anyways. Go ahead.
Yeah, like they're sitting on this massive money vault, and I mean like the third party publishers are basically saying, okay, like we can put games on your system, but like you need to do what Microsoft and Sony been doing for the last like 2-3 gens and cut us like, you know, a 10 million, 30, 20 million, $30 million check to guarantee that we aren't going to lose
Subsidize.
our
That's
shit.
what they want. Subsidize.
So you're not going to lose our shit. The problem is that the problem with that whole thing is that basically is that like that's not how business works, right?
Oh,
Business is about taking risks, right?
Yeah.
Here we go. We have some incoming transmission from Sir Drew here.
Yeah. Well, I know that Unity is compatible. Unity's fucking compatible with everything. And it's compatible with the Wii U. It's compatible with the new 3DS. It's compatible with phones. Everything but Chrome. If you have Google Chrome, Unity is not compatible with.
Okay, that is actually confusing
Weird.
to me.
I know.
Yes.
Yeah. It's weird. And speaking of weird shit. And speaking of questions, this one actually pertains to speaking of graphical engines and people using graphical engines for shit. That is really cool. Anyone noticed whenever there's a new thing in gaming like the Unreal Engine 4 or Oculus Rift, they're mostly used to replicate or modify Nintendo stuff. Should this be taken as original ideas running dry?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. When I first saw those videos on YouTube showing what the Oculus Rift, what the Oculus Rift can do, I was like, wait a minute, why are we seeing Nintendo games being used as kind of a cornerstone? I'm like, really? They couldn't have used any other type of games in Nintendo, but I guess
I don't even think it's like the well running dry. I think it's just like the thing is this is really new technology, okay? And the people who are using it have not yet like thought of a good way to use it. You know what I'm saying? Because what you're seeing from what you're seeing from third parties about this shit, I mean not third party, what you're seeing from these people who are making this stuff is like I saw when the Oculus Rift was first, like before it got bought out by Facebook, is people making like playing like Mario in first person. I'm like, why would you do that? Like Mario is like the original Super Mario Brothers. I'm like, this is not a game meant to be played in first person. Why would you do like? I mean, if you're gonna make a first person peripheral so that you can play virtual reality first-person games. Why don't you make a virtual reality first-person game that's built around that new bit of technology instead of taking someone else's good idea and shitting on it by putting it in something it wasn't meant to do?
I was about to use the word repurpose, but yeah, yours is kind of...
No, they shit on it because I mean basically, okay. Here's what it's like when someone takes a Nintendo game and puts it in Oculus Rift, like a game that's not, or any game really, that's not meant to be in first person, like, and not really built around the concept of first person. It's basically like going to a really nice like restaurant that makes some of the best neighborhood pizza. You get their like one of their highest award-winning pies. You bring it home and you dump cheap nacho cheese whiz all over it and put it in the oven and let the cheese whiz get so hot that it's like nuclear, and then you eat it. You've taken something that was great and fucked it up with your cheese whiz. Don't do that.
Yeah.
You know, go make your own cheese whiz, and then you can do whatever you want to with it. But don't take someone else's good stuff and fuck it up like that. But that's just my own personal opinion.
I bet they were just tripping over on the nostalgia part.
Well,
it seems like,
I mean, you know,
seems like the only type of games that they can fall back to as well, games made by Nintendo.
Well, I mean, you know, they are the masters. The next question is from Titan990. What I find funny is that Pokken Fighters is being released 2016, and still people are doubling down on the NX conspiracy, especially a certain someone.
Yeah, my dumbass meter going through the charts right now for that question.
I thought the Wii U was dead.
Yeah. When I saw that, I was like, man, not dead for a dead console. Yeah, they're getting like. Although, I mean, I'm gonna stand by the statement. I would rather have Soul Calibur than Pokken Fighter.
And you know what I said? Nintendo versus Capcom.
Oh.
Okay, and One White Kong is gonna name names, and I'm gonna let him because I don't give a fuck.
Oh shit!
Mr. I like to name names. Zen Gamer said he is okay with Xbox releasing their one game in over 8 months, Rare Replay, and his old games. And I'm gonna add a caveat to that. It's old games, and 4 of Rare's best games they ever made aren't on there any damn. Which is Donkey Kong Country 1, 2, and 3, and GoldenEye.
They got GoldenEye in that collection?
No, they don't have GoldenEye.
Oh, okay.
They don't have Donkey Kong Country 1, 2, 3, and GoldenEye. They also don't have Donkey Kong 64, although that's not really one of their best. And they don't have Diddy Kong Racing. I'm like, how is this? Shit. How can this be Rare's best 30 games, and you don't have the games that, like, when I think of Rare, like when I think of Rare, here are the games I think of when I think of Rare, like the best games Rare's ever made. Banjo-Kazooie, Banjo-Tooie, Donkey Kong Country 1 and 2. 3 I can take or leave. It's good, but it's not as good as 2. Donkey Kong 64, GoldenEye, Perfect Dark, Jet Force Gemini.
I can see Jet Force Gemini in there.
Let's see, what else? What other Rare game do I just love? And Battletoads Double Dragon. That's 10 games. Okay, now, of those 10 games, only 4 of them are actually on Rare Replay. The other 6 are not. So, I mean, I don't know.
You know,
it's really hard.
Have you ever heard, like, you hear a lot of gamers today talk about how come there's no more, like, beat 'em up type games? How come they don't make any more of those? What's your take on that?
Yeah, wait, side-scrolling beat 'em ups?
It's a I would say change. It's a change in the industry, change in gamers. You know, like
Well, like
I think
it's a change in the industry.
Yeah, not just
it's not changing gamers.
Shoot 'em ups too. We don't hardly see those. All that stuff is for pretty much indie developed now.
No, I think it's a change in the industry and not a change in gamers, because if you put a good beat 'em up in front of a gamer, they'll play it. I think what changed is that the industry when arcades died, because beat 'em ups were built, came to life in the arcade. They were meant to eat your quarters.
Yeah.
But if you're playing a beat 'em up on a console,
Yeah.
I mean, the whole quarter eating thing is moot. So it's like, because I mean, I'll tell you how cheap I am. I have a Final Fight arcade at one of my places, and I'll go and I'll set the thing on hard and fucking and put it on like 2 lives, and then man, people will pump so many credits into that damn thing. I had a dude spend $50 on that one game. He got to the final boss and a Belger, and he uppercutted that SOB through the plate glass window, and he was so happy. He was like ecstatic with joy. He put his name in the thing. I was like, that dude just spent $50 to uppercut a dude through a plate glass window. I was like,
well, I gave him the clap though, because he actually beat the game.
And I fooled his ass into doing it too. Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, I mean, you guys knew what I did yesterday. Spent like 2 hours trying to get 30 lives in one stage in Contra 3 just to beat on hard.
Yeah. Contra 3 had some of the best bosses in Contra. The Terminator boss,
yeah,
the boss was so much fun. Like you fight those 2 dudes, and then the dude opens the thing. You're like, oh shit! Like Contra, especially Konami used to do oh shit bosses the best.
Yeah, they took it to the Mode 7, man. They used that Mode 7 like a boss.
No, just like Contra had bosses that you were like, you just said to yourself, oh shit. The oh shit moment where you're like, oh shit.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Like the first level of Contra where that dragon turtle thing comes in.
That turtle thing, yeah. I thought that was hard when I was a kid, man. I used to die a lot in that shit.
That boss thing sticks to you too. The whole sound.
But now going back and playing it, it wasn't that hard. I actually downloaded it for the Wii U Virtual Console.
I guess
once you learn how to do the weapon switch trick, where if you rapidly switch your weapons back and forth, you like auto fire both of them. And if you have 2 spread shots, you can just destroy everything in front of you, behind you, above you, underneath you. It's kind of cheap, but it's Contra, so I'll allow it.
Missiles all the way from me, baby.
I couldn't. When I saw that end screen, I couldn't breathe anymore. I was just in so much shock.
You teared up a little bit. You teared up.
It took me 15 years to beat it in hard.
Well, there is one thing we're gonna say. We didn't mention it directly. The reason I did this podcast was because 2 weeks ago Phil Spencer said that we're not gonna spend money on third-party exclusives anymore. We're gonna put our money into first-party exclusives. And a lot of people were, patting Phil Spencer on the back, like, yay! I did not read that. I basically what I heard when he said that was the investors at Microsoft are tired of pouring money into a toilet and not seeing any return, and so they cut the purse string. So now their budget has to be spent on their own shit.
The check's not going to clear is basically what I thought.
I was like, yeah, and it's good. I mean, if Microsoft has spent the last 15 years building up their own first-party studios, they might not be in the position they are in right now, but they didn't do that. They just money-hatted shit, so, yeah. Too bad. Sorry, Phil.
But now all we have to do is sit back and watch if they can actually pull this off.
Well, I don't think they can do it, but they're going to try, and it's going to be fun watching them try. Our final question is from Anderson Archilla, and it's a good one. Today is the 20th anniversary of Chrono Trigger, right? Which is the best version? The DS one, I never played it, and that sin has weighed on me more and more each year. I want to redeem myself. Dude, I don't care which... No, I don't care which version you get. The DS version, which kind of see, the DS version has a few extra features. It has an extra scenario, and it has this that kind of explains what happened to one of the main characters in the game. I'm not going to spoil it for you, but the thing is this. I don't care what version of Chrono Trigger you play, just play it. Okay?
The DS version it is.
Yeah, I'll say DS or SNES. I mean, PS1, it has those nice anime cutscenes, but it has load times.
Yes, it does. So, I mean,
Unless
the DS
digital
version
only.
is... The DS version, if you can get it cheap, is good. Worst comes to worst, you can always...
Yeah, you get the
I would
SNES.
not-
Honestly, you get SNES version, you better hurry up and get it because the SNES version is like $95 now just for the cartridge.
Yeah, well, I mean, or you could just go on the Wii Virtual Console and just spend $9-10. You can go on the PS3 and get it. I mean, there's a lot of, I mean, you know, like Chrono Trigger is such an awesome game. There's so many ways to get it, and we have one final question from Titan 990, aka Titan Prime. One last question, or rather a call out. Furious Francis of You Know What, who said that if you don't like the NX content, then you can skip this article. To me, that's just a setting that he lost his damn mind. Titan, I can only tell you one thing, dude. You have got, look, if you don't like his content, stop going to his channel. I mean, that's what I did, and I have not gone, and I will not go. As far as back to Chrono Trigger goes, I'm not going to spoil it for you. I'm not going to tell you which version to get. All I'm going to say is this. Chrono Trigger is like the best RPG ever made, in my opinion. It has one of the best stories, some of the best character growth, some of the best writing, some of the best music, and it has one of the most important things that RPG needs to have. Consequences. Like, if you do something in Chrono Trigger, there's consequences for it.
Yeah.
Like, if you kill someone, or if you don't save someone, or if you don't do this or you do this, there's consequences. And you get this in the first beginning of the game. You think, like early on in the game where you're at this fair, that what you're doing is just a jab, blah, 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 blah. You know, that shit might come back and haunt you if you don't do it right. So you know, Chrono Trigger is just perfect. It's one of the most perfect RPGs ever made. And it's a testament to Square when they used to be able to make really good RPGs. We're never going to see that Square again. So that Square is done. It's dead. But if you can play one of those games, Final Fantasy 4, Final Fantasy 5, Final Fantasy 6, Seiken Densetsu, Seiken Densetsu 3,
yeah.
Or AKA Secret of Mana and Secret of Mana 2. Secret of Mana 2, which was never released here in America because
What about Front
Square
Mission?
Enix. Front Mission. Front
Frontier
Mission
Saga.
is Front Mission is fun, but Front Mission has a few issues.
Did you like
You know what I
Did you like Legend of Mana on PS1?
Legend of Mana is actually pretty good.
Yeah, Legend of Mana, man. I wish they'd bring that back.
Like, here's the thing. Like,
Nice.
Secret of Mana used to be an awesome series.
Awesome.
Secret of Mana used to be an awesome series, and then Square, like, I don't know, something happened with Squaresoft where they stopped trying with different RPGs. They put all their money into Final Fantasy, but Final Fantasy got shittier and shittier with each iteration, and stopped doing different things. Because I remember when Squaresoft used to do all types of shit. They had a fighting game, Airgeist, God Bless the Ring. They had that Einhander, which was like a vertical shooter. They had what was that other one? They had Live Alive, which was basically like a ripoff of like Live Alive was a ripoff of what was popular at the time. So it had like, it was an RPG, but it had like 8 different scenarios that were based on popular culture things. So they had like a scenario where it was like Akira. They had a scenario where it was like a ninja had to go into this castle and kill the lord. They had a scenario where you're like this robot on this ship, and this alien gets loose and starts killing people, but that's not really what's going on. I mean, like they had one where you're this caveman trying to find a mate. They had one that, I mean, Squaresoft used to be fucking awesome, and now they suck.
I'll tell you one game. That's one game. One good game in particular. It even got, I think, it got a re-release on Game Boy Advance. Final Fantasy Tactics. Anybody have played it?
Yeah, I always
Yes,
like
I
the
love that
tactics. I like strategy. I like those.
I even like the ones that were on the Nintendo handhelds.
Oh man, yeah, it's like when did merge happen? 2003 with Enix. I think it was
like Ogre
2003
Tactics.
or 2004.
I don't know. All I know is that in my head, I thought we were going to be getting the best RPGs, the best JRPGs of all time. There was no way that the two best Japanese RPG development houses
But you know they swallowed
merging
up.
together.
They swallowed up Tato as well.
Yeah.
Yes, Square Enix has them pretty much.
So
a
no
monopoly.
Lufia, no Ogre Battle. Like, we haven't seen a Lufia game in
I know,
years.
man. That shit. That series
No
has so
Ogre
much
Battle.
potential, man. I'm telling you, they're wasting it. They're wasting it.
Square Enix
No
pretty
Ogre
much has,
Battle. Oh no, man.
Square Enix pretty much has a monopoly on JRPGs. Like
And that's what
in
they
the
wanted.
world?
Yeah, that's what they wanted.
Aside from Atlas and maybe Namco Bandai, that's it. Those are the only two who were like, and Nippon Ichi, you know, they're kind of holding on with their Disgaea series and their little weird, quirky strategy RPGs. But haven't you noticed that every Disgaea game is the same damn game, just slightly different?
Yep. Yeah, cause what's that one series? Yeah, Breath of Fire. Yeah, that's on mobile now.
No,
God.
don't do that. Don't do that, man.
Don't bring up.
I saw that shit the other day.
Level 5. You know what? Level 5. Level 5 is one of the best RPG. They made some of the best action RPGs on the PS2. Like Dark Cloud 2. Well, Dark Cloud 2 is not that good, but the first one was great. And then everything they learned from those two games, they made like one of the best RPGs of the PS2 that most people don't even talk about, which is Lost Galaxy. No, it was Rogue Galaxy. That game is fucking awesome. On the PS, then they also were contracted out to make Dragon Quest VIII, which is like one of the best Dragon Quests ever made. They also did Dragon Quest IX, I believe. Yeah, they did Dragon Quest IX too.
Mm-hmm.
And Ni no Kuni on the PS3, which is a fucking awesome game. Oh man. But that wasn't even made by Enix, which is terrible because, you know, like I remember when Enix used to be fucking awesome.
Yeah, but I think Square nowadays they outsource a lot of their RPG development to another studio. What's that called? Who did the
Level 5?
No.
Trice?
Trice, yes. Trice does a lot of their.
Trice has been doing art because Trice they're the Star Ocean guys. They've been doing Star Ocean since the start.
I know, but they also do the Tales series as well.
Well, I know they do a lot of stuff for the Tales series.
You know, they do.
Cooper, don't get started with that. I don't think it's gonna be. Don't get.
Where's the confirmation?
Look, man. Don't get started. Don't get started with that shit. Look. Okay. If it came from any other company except Square Enix, I'd be like, we could pretty much bet on it. It's Square Enix, dude. It's Square Enix. Come on, man. No.
We got one RPG series that's going, even though it's crappy. Hyperdimension Neptunia.
Does anyone want that game?
That's why I said that crappy series.
I never played that series.
I have that game on. It's a shitty strategy game. It's a really shitty strategy game. Except the characters are these young pre-adolescent girls that actually are supposed to be the personifications of various video game consoles. So you've got like a Wii one, PlayStation 1, Xbox One, like some handhelds. It's really weird. It's not very good. It's just ugh.
Yeah, they call those type of RPGs. I think it's kind of an anime genre, Mo style. Yeah,
It's a
those.
strategy RPG. It's not really an RPG in the classical sense of the term.
Yeah. Is there any other JRPGs? I think that is it. And Bravely Default and Bravely Second. But those are done by Silicon Studio.
Bravely Default.
Yeah,
Would you
Brave
consider?
Default's awesome.
I
Would
forgot
y'all
about
play that?
Silicon Studio. They did some good like RPGs. Well, aside from those two, they did Final Fantasy IV remake on DS.
Final Fantasy. Oh God, don't
I
get
don't
me
know.
started.
People said they did Three Dot Game Heroes.
Yep.
I don't know who did it, but I have that game. It is
Yeah,
fucking awesome.
Yeah, Silicon
It's like
Studios.
The Legend of Zelda. Yeah. It's like From Software did it. It's like The
Yes,
Legend of Zelda, but
They published it, but Silicon Studios, I believe, developed the actual game.
oh, that's cool. It's a very good game. It's very good. It is very. It basically it's kind of like it's kind of like The Legend. As a matter of fact, I downloaded a character that looks like Link, and I don't know how it looks almost exactly like Link, except like one bit is off. So I guess they could get away with it, kind of. I was like, man, how is Nintendo not suing you guys?
You know what's, but you know, it's funny when Square Enix had an E3 showing Nomura-san afterwards, like, oh, we forgot Final Fantasy 5 and 6. They need to be remade. I'm like, you don't say. And it's like instead of putting all the focus on iOS and Android,
Seven.
it's like, why don't you guys, I don't know, put it on 3DS? At least get Silicon Studio to develop those games like they did Final Fantasy 4.
I would rather just have Final Fantasy 5 and 6. As a matter of fact, they could do Final Fantasy 4, 5, and 6 on one cartridge and charge me like $80 for it, and I'd buy it in a heartbeat because I love those games.
You know that
I love
music.
the-
The music alone is just worthwhile. You know.
Yeah.
You know, it's just, it's
Every time you hear
sad.
that battle music, man.
Nostalgia.
I got the whole
Look, all I'm gonna
soundtrack on my computer.
I don't give a shit about Final Fantasy 7. But I'll tell you right now, if they remade Final Fantasy 6 from the ground up,
Oh my
and
God!
if you actually have like when you're fighting as Sabin,
man. The martial arts?
monk, the martial artist, if you actually could put in
man.
like button inputs in order to do special attacks, that'd be
shit.
fucking awesome.
Yeah,
That'd be the shit. But you know, see, I mean, Square Enix is not the Square stuff. Like, if they were still SquareSoft and they still had those staff that made those games, then they might
They
think
lost
of
a
to
lot
do
of
something like that.
they lost a lot of the brain
Those
power.
people are gone. Hironobu Sakaguchi's gone. The people who made the Final Fantasies we love are at Miss Walker and
Is Nobuo Uematsu
Monolith-
still with them? He's gone, right? He's
Uematsu. I think he
He's doing
he
his
went
own thing.
Ronin.
yeah.
Yeah, I think they pay him to do stuff, but he doesn't work for them anymore.
Yeah, that man is a genius with music. I mean, I don't know if any of you guys saw that interview that he did with when he talked about back in the days with the limitations of the MIDI and 8-bit sounds and shit like that, and what he was able to do with it. He just felt like, you know what?
Yeah.
I need to give the listeners the best, the best I can do, regardless of the.
Well, he literally wrote the music like he was writing like even when the reason the music sounds so good is because he orchestrated it with using the 8-bit, 16-bit software. So I mean the 16-bit hardware. So that's why it sounded so good. And you can still listen to that shit today. Like you can listen to the opera music from Final Fantasy VI. And don't get me started. Don't get me started with that music on Chrono Trigger, which Nobuo Uematsu only helped finish it. Another guy wrote it, but oh my god, the music from Chrono Trigger. Yeah, Yuzo Koshiro is one of the few guys who ever made Sega's sound chip sound like it was worth a damn with the Sega Genesis. Like he's the only him in Sega's internal sound team, because everyone else was like, we'll just throw some shit on there. It's like, this shit's making my eardrums bleed. I don't care.
Comic Zone. God, that's a hard game.
What's a hard game?
Comic Zone on Sega
Comic
Genesis.
Zone actually mentioned Comic Zone.
Yep. I
used to suck at that game. Like, and I went back and played that game, and I was like, this game is not as hard as I thought it was. I guess because when you're a kid, you think it's really hard, and then as you get older and your hand-eye coordination gets better, you start to think more logically about things. You realize this isn't that bad. I just have to learn how to position enemies a certain way. I'll tell you what's hard. That damn Eternal Champions.
You know, I played that, and I don't know, man. I never.
It's like Sega's like,
Was I
we
the
do
only
our
one
own
fooled?
take.
Yeah, was I the only one fooled by the artwork on that thing, like on the cover? Like it looked like it was like amazing. And we played it.
Sega was trying to do their answer to Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat, but it sucked. There's a reason that every other 2D fighting game is basically ripping off Street Fighter, because Street Fighter 2 works. It's the template that works. Why would you try and change that? It works.
Do you guys ever think? I may be wrong about this, but I don't ever remember if Capcom published a title for the Neo Geo. Did they ever do that?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
So let me ask you this: do you think if they would have do you think if they would have been open to doing so on the SNK, like porting over Street Fighter 2 and shit, you know, a different version of it or whatever for the SNK, that would have been more appealing, or what do you think? I mean, it was just too expensive, I think.
Like a perfect version of like Street Fighter 2, like a home version.
Yes.
That'd be pretty sick.
Because those cartridges were big as hell, man. Those things were like 256 megs back then, when there was only 32 meg cartridges, and those things were like 4 times.
The only reason I don't think they didn't put their game on that system is because
King of Fighters?
King
of Fighters?
Well, no. The only reason I don't think they put their games on the Neo Geo is because that was their competition. Literally, it was their competition. It'd be like
King of
it
Fighters.
would have been like Sega putting their. It's okay. You know how weird it was to see Sega on a Sega game on a Nintendo console.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, it was just really, like, I don't know about you guys. It's always like I feel weird playing a Sega game on a Nintendo console.
How many of you guys would love to have like an SNK like retro machine be available for people to buy, or even play it on a virtual console? What happened with that? That never came really to fruition, did it?
Like the Neo Geo?
Yeah, like the full listing of titles. I thought that was going to happen on the virtual console. It never did.
Yeah, there wasn't a full list, but I mean, they had a couple of good
Metal Slug
games. Yeah, they had those. They had Metal Slug. What else did they have? Shot
Samurai
Troopers.
Showdown.
Yeah, Magician Lord. Yeah.
I mean,
but there's still quite a bit that wasn't on there.
The
right?
virtual console, to tell you the truth, the Wii's virtual console was really good, and I mean, it didn't have everything, but it had a nice slice of gaming history. You know, all the way back from starting with 8-bit all the way up to like 630. I guess Neo Geo was 32-bit, right? Maybe 24-bit, whatever.
I think it was a 16-bit, like super powerful machine with some higher, like 32-bit sound or something like that.
All I know is that the Neo Geo.
It was very powerful for
that shit was too damn expensive.
Yeah,
and man. Neo Geo to put, I mean, literally to have the ball. I admire their balls. To have the balls to put out an $800 console
with cartridges.
With cartridges costing $200 each. You sir have balls of steel. Tungsten steel. Not even that weak steel. It was tungsten steel.
Yeah, they had some balls, man.
It was a beautiful machine, though.
But SNK, that's neck.
It was.
Right? That's neck.
I don't know about that. I know their ass is broke now.
Yeah, they're broke.
I know they got bought out, but SNK had been when SNK started trying to put the arcade experience into people's household, I knew they were in trouble. Because, I mean, SNK was an arcade company. So an arcade company starts wanting to leave the arcades. That's
But then isn't that
But Nintendo,
like Nintendo started in the arcade and then went
yeah,
went
Nintendo and Sega, they were
no.
making like home versions of like arcade games. So I mean, you can consider them, moving their arcade games over to
Nintendo.
the home
Let me put it
market.
this way: Nintendo made like I want to say like 3 arcade games, and I think like the first one was one made by Takeda,
it's
and
Taco
then
Bell.
the second one it was like a weird like fighting game, but it wasn't Punch Out. It was weird. It was like a pre Punch Out, and then they did Radar Scope, and then they did Donkey Kong, and then they were like, fuck this shit. they saw the writing on the wall, like, well, we need to get the fuck out of here. And then they did, and then Sega was like, man, we need to, like, because Sega's big thing, their draw point was, we're going to bring the arcade experience to your house. And like that's what they did. Like Sega would try and bring the arcade game to the home console, and the Sega Genesis couldn't do it. The Master System really couldn't do it. But once they started getting to like the CD, the Saturn, and then the Dreamcast, they started 1-for-1 ports from the arcade. The problem was that they were primarily they made a lot of money in the arcade. They undercut themselves out of their own market.
But then, in this discussion, you kind of notice the difference between Nintendo and Sega and SNK. One game from Nintendo, you see the difference, and it's Punch Out. Visually speaking, it wasn't a one-to-one between the home console version and the arcade, but mechanics are still there. Which is with Sega and SNK, they really went for the one to one crap, I forgot the word
Conversion.
yes, 1-to-1 conversions, and well, it seems like that might have cost them too much.
Well, I mean, the thing is like when you destroy your own market, which is what Sega and SNK did. They destroyed their own market. Like there it is. Yeah. Okay. The first game that they made was EVR Race. That's the first. It was an electronic. It was an arcade game. It came out in 1976. That was the first. That was the first game that they made. Nintendo made, but it was like one of those like interactive games. And then later on, they made Radar Scope that flopped like gangbusters. It didn't work out for them. Oh well. It's Nintendo. Nintendo will be fine. Like I've never like here's the thing. Every time people always like, oh man, what's Nintendo gonna do? They'll be fine. It's time to wrap this shit up. I think we've been here long enough, and there's another podcast coming soon anyway. So anyone want to plug what they're doing?
Well, I do have at least 2 topics in my head, but I want to save those 2 for Shadow Fox next Shadowcast, because it's going to be a bit technical. But yeah, this has been Triple M, the lone wolf that has funds for games that puts in his artworks, and well, sayonara on the next podcast, ladies and gentlemen.
All right.
Triple M's a trip.
Okay, who wants to go next?
I'll go
We'll
next.
let Poppy go since he's going to bounce. He's got to do something.
Hey, folks, this is Poppy2K. Thanks for having me on here, Mr. Red Fox. I always enjoy being here. We had a good time. Thanks for joining, guys, even though it came a little bit later. But, hey, everybody has some good stuff to say. No, I mean, I like talking about this stuff because this is some of the things that you don't hear much about anymore because this is when gaming was at its glory time, glory days, glory time, whatever. So
The golden age.
Yep.
I actually have a cast going on in about 40 minutes, 30 minutes, something like that. So if you guys want to
56
join,
minutes.
you're more than welcome.
I'll
Alright.
be there, sir. I will be there. Who's
Shout
going
out to
next?
One White Kong and
I'll-
Anderson Achilla.
I'll go next. The
Okay,
one
go, Cage Anime.
Cage Anime, sign off, letting you guys know, keep calm game on, and for those that own Splatoon, are you part of the Autobots or are you part of the Decepticon? That's the main question. Signing off.
Starscream! You idiot! Who wants to go
Decepticons
next?
terrorize.
This is Tuber5 signing off.
Okay. I guess Drew. I guess your mic isn't working. But Drew Vaughn's here. He's a developer. The guy makes games. So, you know, I guess once he gets his mic going, he'll plug some of them. I haven't seen any yet, but I heard they're good. So, yeah. Some good stuff, apparently. Oh, Vape Cycle. So, there you go. He's doing some cool stuff here. So, I guess everyone's gone except for me. So, I guess it's my turn now. This is me, Mr. Red Fox, the man who... Actually, that does look really cool, dude. That's awesome. My hat's off to you because I'm not creative like that at all. This is me, Mr. Red Fox, the man who has not taken any BS since 1991. I'm also the man who is crazy like a fox. And with that being said, it's time to bid you adieu. I hope to get back up to doing one of these once a week. Stay tuned next week to where I'll be talking about something a little bit different. This BS Busters will be about, instead of video games, we'll talk about movies. And we'll be talking about movies that we wish were not made, that were just like, I can't believe they made that shit. So look forward to that one.
Gosh.
Yeah, where we'll just be like, I can't believe they actually made that movie. So we'll talk about it. And with that, I bid you guys good night. And I have some other stuff coming out, so yeah. Look forward to that. I'll be uploading some videos this week, so yeah. Peace.
Peace.